Welcome to Violin Adventures number 92. We have a lot of work to get into, so we're going to start with the Minnesota violin. Here's the violin that was sent from Minnesota, and it's a beautiful looking violin made in 1928, and it comes from Miracourt, France. And the problem we're having with this instrument is it has a harsh tone and it's not free. So we're going to play it right now so we can hear it. We'll see if we can fix the problem or not. A lot of times instruments made in France tend to have a little more harsher tone. Okay, so it has plenty of volume, but it's not enjoyable to play because it's really harsh and it can hurt your ears, it can give you a headache. So let's find out what the problems might be. And I'm really enjoying talking to the owner of this violin because you all know your instrument, that has to live with it, so you understand the problems that it has, just like your child. You know your child better than anyone else. So you guys have good ideas. So I love to talk to the owner of the violin, and that helps me understand even more what the trouble might be so that we can fix it. So the first thing we're going to do is take this down and have a good look at the inside. Okay, I'm going to take this violin down. So we'll mark the pegs. I have a special box where I keep all the parts of the instrument so they don't get lost. And now we're ready to open the violin. As I'm getting ready to open the violin, I'm just checking, and I see here a little crack on the side, which we'll check when we get inside on the ribs here to make sure that's supported. The cello has a crack in the similar place, only it's on this side of the cello. You can tell this is closed up with the correct glue. Okay, I'm actually happy to see the inside of this violin because right off I can see things that we can do to improve it. One is the cleats are going across the grain, and that immediately stops the vibration of the instrument. So we can definitely improve the tone by putting in cleats that are going to keep the vibration going down the plate. You're going to take off these cleats and put the correct ones on. These are nicely done and very thin, but just in the wrong direction. We're going to have a look at this bass bar. Now this bass bar it looks like the original bass bar. Since this violin was made in 1928, it's time for a new one. They usually last 50 to 60 years, and then you need to put in a new one. So that should help. Okay, the plate has a nice tone, although it is not free. Next is our viola project, changing the 4-string into a 5-string. Well, another box arrived. Let's open it up and see what it looks like inside. Okay, this is really packed well. This is great. We've got boxes inside boxes so that the violin won't be moving around. And this is all padded, top and bottom. This is great. I'm going to set these aside. And we'll take a look. But here again, the viola is in a nice case, so I'm not worried. And this is all padded. Good job. Yeah, great. And there's padding around the bridge and the tailpiece. This is great. Padding around everything in case it's moving. This is good. So what we're going to do with this viola is we're going to change it from a 4-string instrument to a 5-string so that you can play viola and violin music on it. And I enjoy doing this, especially with violas, because they have a good tone, and adding the E string just gives you more flexibility in your playing. So that's what we'll do with this instrument. I'm going to contact the owner so they know that it arrived, and then we'll get busy. Next is the challenging cello. Okay, I am back working on this cello, and I want to reopen it because I found a little crack on this side that needs to be repaired. And so I got going and started opening it here. And the good thing is this person used the proper glue. So it's coming apart all right. There we go. Okay, here it is, back open again. And right over here is where our crack is, and I'm glad we found it. Now and not later. Now, while the ribs are still easy to get open, we can make sure everything is good. So right over here, this rib is cracked. So we're going to fix that. And back to our Minnesota violin. We're going to get started taking off these cleats carefully. And also we're going to remove the old bass bar. Wow, this bass bar is one of those that's made out of the top, and it's not a separate piece of wood. I just admire the workmanship of this maker because he made it look, he carefully made it and made it look like it was separate from the wood, but this is right out of the wood. Now there are problems with that. Usually it'll crack along the bass bar, and of course the vibrations will be better with a separate bass bar that doesn't go right along with the grain of the wood like that. So this is interesting. Wow, so this fellow had really good workmanship, and his graduations were very consistent. Back to the viola. So we're going to take down this viola and put all the parts safely in a box labeled so we don't lose any parts. Okay, on this viola, we're going to take the fingerboard off and put just a little bit wider fingerboard on there to accommodate 5 strings instead of 4. Okay, the fingerboard is off, and it's so nice when the proper glue is used, they just pop right off. So the fingerboard is off, and I'll show you here what we're going to need. Okay, here's the parts we're going to need to change this viola from a 4-string to a 5-string. So we're getting a new fingerboard. a new tailpiece, a new bridge, a new peg, a new upper nut, and then we have the bushings to fill the peg holes so that we can move the peg holes and make room for 5 holes. The challenging cello. While I'm back on this cello, I just have to get these ribs finished and then we can proceed. It was fun talking to y'all in the comments about hide glue. And to continue on with our rant, when hide glue is applied properly and used on instruments, they come apart very easily. You don't have to use a hot knife or anything like that. You just pop it open. The viola. Okay, we're putting on a wider fingerboard with hot hide glue because you do want to take these fingerboards off once in a while. And we'll let that dry for 24 hours and then we can start working on the peg box, getting the bushing down, and then drilling new holes. The Minnesota violin. Okay, here we are. I've been having fun talking to all you guys from your comments to emails to phone messages, and I'm forgetting to get on my video and talk to you on YouTube land. So the latest is we have our violin here that had a harsh tone. It was hard on the ears. So I've been looking at it and we've got good tone now on the top. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but it just has this fullness. And we need to get a bass bar into that, but it is a good piece of wood that we can work with. And then here on the back, everything looks pretty good, but there was a repair on the rib here. And I'm looking at it and it looks a little bit thick. And what do you know? They put a piece of plywood in a fine violin. I'm keeping myself back from another rant. But all I'm going to say is you never use plywood on an instrument. Even if it's not a fine instrument, you always use wood. So, I never seen a piece of plywood in a violin before. Okay, I'll be quiet and we'll go on to the next problem. Our YouTube violin. Okay, it's a beautiful sunny day. Look at the sky, gorgeous blue with just a little bit of clouds and nice and green down here. And so I thought I'd bring out our YouTube violin. And I hope you can see this because out here in the sun I can't tell what I'm taking a picture of. But as we turn it, I want you to see the back here. I hope you can see it's just gorgeous. And if we look close in the grain, we can see what is called Der Spiegel, which means the little pieces of like a mirror. Anyway, there's our back, and this is a perfect time to come out while the sun is really shining on it to make that varnish harden up a bit. And the Minnesota violin. Okay. This little piece of plywood, which is now out. I'm very thankful that it wasn't even glued on real hard, so it came out really easy. I am going to replace that with a little piece of linen. Now this is very tight weave linen, and it's something that's been used over the years, hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, we've got to find a really nice sound bass bar for this violin. So I'm in my little wood room and I've got some really nice aged pieces of spruce here. So let's check them out for tone. That one, the grain is too wide. There it is. That one's got a really nice tone. These are pieces of wood that I've split off of really nice pieces of spruce for other instruments. And this one is the one. Well, the bass bar has been fitted, so we're going to glue it and then shape it after it's been fitted. Okay, the bass bar is all clamped in, and we'll wait 24 hours and then take the clamps off. Viola. This is our 4-string viola being converted to a 5-string. So I've got the new fingerboard on, and well, I've been sitting here fitting this fingerboard, which is just really dirty. When you're working with ebony, it's really dirty work. So a lot of sanding and shaping to make sure that it fits really smoothly and there's no lumps or bumps or ridges on the side here. So it feels very soft. And I'll show you what I mean. This edge here where the ebony meets the maple, I want it to be so smooth that you cannot feel that seam. It's just one piece of wood. The challenging cello. Well, I don't know if I told you, I was really glad that I took the varnish off, because in the process I found that there was a crack here on the side rib. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this glued up. We want to make sure everything is good on this cello. And because it has such a nice tone, it just makes it even more fulfilling to get it right. Okay, I'm doing the same thing in this little violin. The crack is on this side. Now this is where we had the terrible small piece of plywood. So we don't want that in there. The YouTube violin . Okay, we've rubbed it down, and I'm just going to let it dry off and maybe dry over the weekend, and then we'll check it in early next week and see if it's ready for the next coat. Well, we're at the end of a week. The skies are blue, nice beautiful puffy clouds, and it's quite green. Here we are inside the shop with a lot of projects going on. So here's our challenging cello. We've got all the varnish off. So maybe next week we'll think about a new coat of varnish. Oh, I see I haven't taken the varnish off the scroll. Well, there we go. That's the next project. Here's our Minnesota violin under repair. We've got a new bass bar on there. I'm very excited about this violin. Here's our special viola that we're changing into a 5-string viola. We have the peg holes filled, and we have a larger fingerboard on. So next week we'll put in the 5 holes and probably get this set up again. Over here is our YouTube violin. Since it's rubbed down, it doesn't look as shiny, but it's sitting here in the window getting some sunlight so it can dry a little bit faster. Vayomer Hashem Eliv mi sampeh la'adam or mi yasum elem o haresh o pekeach o iver halo anaki Hashem. And the Lord said to him, who made the mouth of man? Or who made the dumb, or the deaf, or those who see, or the blind? Is it not I, Hashem, or the Lord? This is a special request from one of our viewers. If you know where this is found, leave it in the comments below. And thank you for the request. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for commenting in the comments. I love talking to you all. And until next time, God bless you. Bye.